Back in 2015, I moved to Melbourne, Australia, and I finally found out what really good coffee is. I found out what a super fit and super attractive city looked like, and I spent the next 2.5 years in that city, and it's honestly one of the best times of my life. It just really is a beautiful city. If you haven't been, highly recommended. But why do you care about where I lived? Why do you care? And the reason, and this is a very roundabout way of getting back to this sneaker of this video, the founder of April Skateboards is Shane O'Neill, who is a professional skateboarder, and he's from Melbourne, Australia. So in 2019, he founded April Skateboards. That team consists now of a bunch of professional skateboarders, one of them being Yuto Horigome, who also came out with a Nike Dunk Low this year. Now, I don't know anything about the skateboarding world, so I'm not gonna pretend I know anything more than that, but I know Shane O'Neill is from Melbourne, Australia. I know he founded April Skateboards, and I know April Skateboards is collaborating with Nike and bringing out one of the best Nike SB Dunks of 2023. April Skateboards Nike SB Dunk Low. Now this shoe is officially dropping on November 13th for $120 in the United States. I believe as of now, it's only going to drop at select SB retailers. That might change, but that's what the information is right now. And this shoe, don't hold me to it, but if I remember correctly, and if I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments below. But this shoe, I believe, is officially the first Nike collaboration with April Skateboards. Not with Shane O'Neill, the founder. He actually has his own Nike SB signature shoe, the Nike SB Shane. But since he founded April Skateboards, I believe this is the first Nike project. And look at this. Look at the colorway. Look at how clean it is. The thing that people will notice probably is the suede overlays. Very reminiscent to the Jordan 1 High Turbo Green. A lot of people love that shoe. It is just so clean. And the upper sole of this shoe, it comes in a mix of materials. It comes with a mesh base layer, a very thick mesh with like just a netting over it. But generally, in a vacuum, I don't love that material because when it gets dirty, it's kind of harder to clean than like leather. But I do appreciate them going for something slightly different. Now on the toe box, they do go for a more traditional look, just leather on the toe box. And this leather on the toe box, it's pretty nice. It does feel like that thinner type of leather compared to the leather on the Born and Raised Nike SB Dunk. I think that's better leather, but this one, it's not bad. And then on the overlays, it is suede. So it comes in that same type of suede as the Jordan 1 High Turbo Green. That kind of washed aesthetic, similar to the washed pink, the washed black Jordan 1 Highs. Kind of less velvety, less plush, so it's not that hairy suede, but it just feels kind of dry. It's not my favorite type of suede, but it's not the worst. And unlike usual Nike SB Dunks, the swoosh, it has a chrome swoosh on both sides. And you also see that on the booty of the shoe, the same type of chrome aesthetic. And speaking of the booty, it is branded on one shoe with the April Skateboards branding. And another place where you see that April Skateboard branding is on the heel of the shoe, embossed on the heel. And because this is a Nike SB Dunk, you see the tongue of the shoe, it is slightly fatter, slightly thicker, provides more padding than a non-SB Dunk. And on the tag of the shoe, it also has SB branding. And the tag of the tongue, it is leather. Can't quite tell if it's synthetic leather. It's made to look like kind of tumbled leather. But I can't quite tell if it's synthetic, just made to look like that, or if it's genuine leather. And on the other shoe, it does have a branded tag on the tongue instead of just Nike SB branding. And speaking of an SB Dunk over a non-SB Dunk, the laces are also thicker. And to match the swoosh, the tips on the laces also come in that chrome aesthetic. And this shoe does come with one extra set of laces. It's actually the same color as the laces out of the box. The difference is the extra set of laces does not have those chrome tips. I'm kind of disappointed. I did want to see another color, maybe the teal color. I think that'll give it a pretty cool look, or even like pink, just to get a bit wild, get a bit colorful, or even like silverish. Not quite sure how you would do that on like laces, but just something else, a different color, change things up a little bit. I did want to see another extra set of laces. And another place we'll see April Skateboard branding is the insole of the shoe. So this kind of orange looking insole with another rose graphic to match the outsole. So this shoe does have a Zoom Air unit on the heel of the shoe, a non-SB Dunk, no Nike Air, no Zoom Air, so much more primitive cushioning compared to an SB Dunk. And I do appreciate that went with a white midsole on this shoe. Very glad they didn't stick sail on this midsole. And one of my favorite things to stick on sneakers, an icy outsole, an icy translucent outsole. This time comes with a branded rose on the outsole. Look how beautiful that looks. And speaking of the outsole, another difference between an SB Dunk and a non-SB Dunk, the traction is slightly different. So you see more circles on SB Dunks. That is supposed to provide more friction when you're skateboarding. I, as someone that never skateboards, I don't really feel the difference, but if you do, there you go. And the teal Nike SB cutout Really, really beautiful. I love how that looks. And the box of the shoe, that is the sale box era, so pretty standard Nike SB box. Now moving on to size and comfort, I'm a size 9.5 true to size. I do have wide feet. For Nike SB Dunks, I generally just go true to size, and lengthwise it pretty much fits perfectly. It's super snug. My toes are just where it needs to be like comfortable and snug. So whether or not you have wide feet, I do recommend just sticking true to size. And because it is an SB Dunk, there is slightly more padding. It feels more snug than a non-SB Dunk. So I do like that. That Zoom Air unit on the heel also helps in terms of cushioning. Overall, the SB Dunks, just no debates, it's more comfortable than a general Nike Dunk. However, compared to a lot of other shoes with maybe more improved tech specs, more modern day shoes, it's still not as comfortable, but compared to like slightly older shoes, definitely a step up in terms of comfort. And you'll see around the ankle collar, it's got this like lining over it that is the same as the inside of the tongue. Compare that to like the Yuto Dunks, the Born and Raised Dunks. Different ankle collar lining in terms of comfort doesn't really make much of a practical difference for me. And that brings the total sole score of the April Skateboards Nike SB Dunk Low to 42 out of 50, a very high score compared to other collaborations. And in terms of colorway, like I said before, it is a beautiful colorway. It's pretty much perfect. The suede overlays in that washed, distressed turbo green color, it just looks really, really nice. I love how that looks. The simplicity of this with the white base layer, it just pops. It's different enough to catch people's attention, but not like so loud where people wonder what you did with your life. It is just, to me, one of the best colorways of 2023. In terms of materials, the leather is pretty nice. The suede, it's okay. I don't love that dry type of suede, but that is pretty standard for shoes with this aesthetic. For me, when it comes to suede, I like a more smooth, more plush type of suede. So I don't love that. And I don't love mesh overall. So the mid panel as well as the ankle collar, I don't love that material. That's just a personal preference. I think leather is king, but that's just my opinion. So the materials on the shoe, it's not my favorite personally, but if those things that I mentioned don't bother you, this one's definitely for you. In terms of comfort, I generally find Nike SB Dunks to be pretty comfortable, much more comfortable than the non-SB Dunks. The cushioning inside as well as the padding and snugness of the shoe fits my feet pretty well. I think compared to other shoes like the Jordan 13s, 14s, obviously those shoes are way more expensive, but compared to shoes like that, I think it's not as comfortable, but if I had to walk around in an SB Dunk like all week, no complaints from me. In terms of versatility, I think the SB Dunks are super versatile. It's one of the most versatile silhouettes. I think it's a super easy to wear shoe. And in terms of the colorway, the overlays, it might be a bit too much for some people, but I honestly think even though it's not a very standard and basic color, I honestly think it's normal enough to be super versatile, super easy to wear. In terms of storytelling, I think this is really good storytelling. Not as much as the Born and Raised Dunks. I think the details and the storytelling on that shoe is just next level, but this one, still very nice. Branded tongues, the insoles as well as the outsoles, the branding on the heel as well as the booty of the shoe. Now, one thing I couldn't find too much information about, and I hope Nike updates the Nike skateboarding website, is really the inspiration behind this shoe. So like why this color, maybe why the materials, why the specific colors on the insoles. When you go to NikeSkateboarding.com, you can find the exact story behind the Jarritos, the Born and Raised Dunks, the Yuto Dunks, the Type Boost Dunks that are coming up. And I really like that. I think that really brings the story to life of a shoe. I couldn't find that on their website, at least not of the time of recording, so that might change. But just looking at the shoe in a vacuum, I think the storytelling is still pretty nice. I'm not even a huge Dunks guy, but there are just some Dunks that are undeniable. And this is one of them. The suede overlays on this white base with the chrome swoosh, with the storytelling. This dunk is stupid nice. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Sole Inclined. Let me know what you think of the April Skateboards Nike SB Dunk Low. Like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes.